None of man's fantasies of evil can compare with the reality of Jaws.
Bad fish, but I'll catch him and kill him.
Did you hear your father? Out of the water now!
This shark, swallow you whole.
From the best-selling novel, Jaws, rated PG, may be too intense for younger children.
As John McClane would say, welcome to the party.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
What do you think? Morgan and Megan film diaries sound like something?
Yeah. Our film diaries.
Ooh, it's better than Cinevlog. Whatever the hell that was called. So, this was your first time seeing Jaws.
Oh, yes. Yes. It did not fail to impress. That was really good. It had a nice balance of the horror violence of the shark, classic Spielberg, the music, the soundtrack, really good practical effects.
Yeah.
Like, it holds up really, really well.
I was surprised when I asked you about this movie, because I didn't know if you've seen it or not, because there's so many classics I know we both have not watched a lot.
Yeah.
But when you said you did, I'm like, no, we gotta do the fish, man. We gotta do the fish, man.
Yeah.
And out of all the places, the Strand Theater.
Yeah, I loved that. Like, it felt like going back in time. Like, that's...
It's interesting because it's a very historical place. It's like a Chunky's, but it's a very personal kind of Chunky's, which makes it all the more special. The food, oh my goodness. If we ever go there again, we're doing pizza.
Yes.
You had the burger, I had the fish. Was yours well done?
Yeah, mine was really good. Very juicy, not too dry. One of those nice big pub-style burgers.
You're really a big burger person, aren't you?
Yeah, I can't help it. I love burgers.
So do I, don't
love
worry.
Burgers and steak and shrimp and lobster.
Shrimp. Fruit of the sea.
I'm not sure about crab because my only experience with crab is canned crab, which is not that good. Which most canned fishes are good, but canned crab, no. Yuck.
I can only imagine. I'm more of a canned tuna person. Speaking of which, I had the filet fish. I don't know if you're like big into like baked haddock sandwiches.
Yeah, it depends. I mean, I do like haddock.
It's a good thing you got good seats. Really, really good seats, because when we got in there, that line was going all the way out to the lobby.
Yeah.
I was so lucky to be in line in the concession stand line. But at the same time, I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute, what if they don't play trailers? What if they just play the movie?
Yeah, they did just that. Like, I was messaging you back, and then I'm like, oh crap, the movie's starting. So I'm like, well, if he replies, I can't do anything because phones are not allowed at this point. In the pocket it goes.
Oops. I was so worried because here I am standing in line, and I wish you could see this. This is like something out of the Muppet Show. I'm in the little hallway area because it goes in the lobby and it goes into a split section where you go into the theater, but there's a little booth where they serve like all the foods and stuff, and you take orders. Everyone was poking their heads in the little doorway just to see the opening title as the applause happened.
Yeah, I noticed that.
And right when the first kill happened, they're just like, ooh, do we miss it? Do we miss it? Do we miss it? Because we just got one half of the screen, so it looked like we were watching the NBC TV version from the 80s for a split second.
Oh, and it cracked me up, too, because I think before the movie started, there was some guy on the other side of the theater, and he looked like you, so I'm like, wait a minute, I'm over here. I'm like, that's not Morgan. So half the theater is probably like, who the hell is this crazy woman?
Did he look like this?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
But he was wearing like a straight. I think what gave it away was the shirt, because I'm like, wait a minute, that's not his shirt. So
yeah. Solid blue. Brother. So, we'll get to the movie in a second. You had the burger, I had the fish. The food is just absolutely great.
Yes.
Very well made, very well fried, very well deep fried.
Yes.
There were fries, there were onion rings, mozzarella sticks. I'm just like, ooh, I gotta get a smorgasbord for this one, because it's been like maybe 2 years.
Yeah.
Since I ever, went to the theater, even this place in general. So I'm just thinking to myself, well, what foods would be perfect to do for this presentation? Because it's Jaws. You gotta do something special.
Yeah.
Boom! Burger, fish, fries for me, fries for you, because they were both plates. Mozzarella sticks, onion rings, and then when they got midway to the movie with the fishing trip, popcorn for dessert.
Yes.
Anything lovelier than that is popcorn.
Yes, and you can't beat movie theater popcorn.
Especially when it's well buttered.
Yes. Oh,
And I
yes.
don't mean that as a euphemism. I actually do mean well buttered. Even if it was like extra salt, I'd be fine with that. So Jaws is the kind of movie that I have seen so many times that it should be on my top like 50 favorites list, but it's not. And that's because it's one of those films I can just easily like put on and enjoy, kind of like comfort food in a sense.
Yeah.
Hell, if I did like a top 10 list of favorite comfort food films, that would maybe be like a 1 or a 2 at most, because it's one of those films I can't stop quoting for the life of me. Even I'm just sitting next to you, mouthing lines when Quint appears. One of my favorite characters. I've seen this movie many times, as you can tell. Small screen, drive-in screen. I think that was at the Menden Twin Drive-In, which was owned by, I can't remember their names, but they're like some car dealership.
Yeah.
For the life of me, I can't remember right now because I'm just in ecstasy over this film. But I remember seeing that with Dan, high school Dan, not Sonic Guru.
Yeah.
And it was a double feature of that and Jurassic Park, and the other screen was The Sandlot and The Goonies.
Oh.
And I asked, would you like to do Jaws or Jurassic Park or this other thing? He decided to go with Jaws and Jurassic Park, because he hadn't seen those two. And even though he wasn't a big fan of both of them, he did favor Jaws more. And he kind of described it as like a long-ass fishing trip.
It was good.
But he liked it.
Yeah.
It was really good. And it's interesting looking at like the history of this whole thing. It was a book, then it became a film. It spawned a bunch of sequels.
Yeah, I don't think I'll ever watch the sequels because
They're going. No, go on.
pretty much watching Jaws. It definitely felt like a cut and dry single movie, not supposed to be a continuation. And then, like Dragonheart, they made a bunch of sequels.
I agree wholeheartedly. I'll get back to you on the sequel thing. But no, this is the kind of film I just cannot stop quoting, enjoying. I don't know why it's in my top 50 favorites. Maybe because it's so easily mainstream.
Yeah.
For that particular reason. It's such a simple idea. Shark comes in, invades town. Sheriff is set out to try and get rid of it as much as he can, but he's such a middleman. And what I love about that character, Chief Brody, for the life of me, great performance by Ross Scheider.
Yeah.
If I pronounce his name, I'm sorry. I always have that problem a lot. He's just so innocent. He's just caught in a situation he's never dealt with before.
Yeah.
And I love how he's a family man, and your 2 cents.
And I felt bad for him because he did try to immediately close the beaches, but then the politician guy's like, no, it's a propeller blade. It's not really a shark.
There's no shark in the water.
Turns out there's a shark, and who gets blamed for it? The chief.
Yeah.
And then the politician guy's like, oh, I'm not going to learn my lesson. He's the mayor, right? Mm-hmm. Don't mind if I call him the politician guy, because he just comes off as a caricature of a politician, but...
We won't say which one.
But
you might hint it. We're going to build a wall around the beach.
Yeah.
Big ass wall on the beach.
We're going to make a great wall. We're going to put it on the beach. And it's going to be 1,000,000 beaches with 1,000,000 walls, and it's going to be great.
We're going to get some fun. We're going to get some funding from the tuna. Bumblebee Tuna's going to fund it.
And then...
That's stupid, no.
And then when the shark attacks, this was like the worst deal in history. The absolute worst.
As slimy as the mayor is, what I really love is how when he gets his comeuppance, he's in the hospital, he's broken, he doesn't know what the hell to do. He's just like, my kids are on the island too. He's just like so shaken. I love that. He's just put in his position, destroyed.
And the chief literally was the embodiment of the shark zooming in on him. Dan it. You're going to sign this and you're going to sign it now.
You're going to hate me when I say this, but for some odd reason, he's still the mayor in movie number 2.
Why? Well, it's a sequel.
Exactly.
And he probably didn't learn his lesson.
No,
didn't learn his lesson.
No.
And it's like, oh, here we go again.
And the second half of the film is just so perfect. It's like a remake of Creature from the Black Lagoon. You have Roy Scheider, Robert Shaw as Quint, the master of the sea, Aquaman Quint, just out there. I love his performance. I know he was like wasted after that film because he had like a huge drinking problem.
Yeah.
So as you can imagine, it was difficult for the Spielberg and crew to concentrate. So if I remember correctly, and I could be wrong, he was told, okay, if you're going to be this wasted, we're not going to let you do the big speech scene. and he sobered up for a little bit, did the speech scene, and everything was fine. But even then, you couldn't tell. It was a little bit kind of part of the character, even though there's like 5% alcohol.
Like it worked.
It did. What was your favorite scene with Quint?
Oh, just when he's like having the boat going faster and like the boat's clearly getting destroyed and they're like, stop the boat, slow down. He's like, la 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 la.
The bits with him and Richard Dreyfuss as the shark professor Hooper was great.
When they're comparing each other's scars. Oh, well, look at this. Oh, yeah, well, look at this. Oh, yeah, well, here's my foot.
I'll drink to your leg. I'll drink to your leg.
Oh.
This snapped off here. I was wrestling a Chinese man. That's an actual line from the movie, by the way. But then it gets to that big speech, like, oh, this makes so much sense. He's so scarred for life about sharks because that one little incident. He's so hell-bent on killing that great white just because of that incident he had.
Which is a good symbolism
It
for Moby
is.
Dick in a way, too, and Moby Dick was based off of a true event.
Yes.
Very, very loosely, but it was based off of a true event.
I've seen Heart of the Sea, so I know what you're referring to.
Yeah,
By the way, don't see Heart of the Sea. It's not a bad movie.
I haven't, but I'm probably not going to watch it.
Cannibalism. I spoil it for you.
And that happened in real life, too.
Well, it's PG-13, so
Yeah.
of course it's not going to show it. And it's directed by Ron Howard. But Ron Howard's not a bad director.
Yeah.
But no, it's just so much good comedy, so much good horror. Every time when I knew a certain jump scare was going to happen, I looked out of the corner of my eye just to see how he would react. And about 60% of the time I was kind of on point. Every sound effect, every movement, every time the robotic fish appeared.
Which, that was a pretty impressive prop.
Oh, that was made by the same guys as the giant squid in Disney's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. So you know they're going to do it good quality, but they had so many problems with that shark. It just would not work. So
Yeah, because didn't he want to do like a full-on animatronic shark, and they didn't go with that because it looked so fake, and
that is true.
So he just kind of had
Page
to improvise.
Page 1, Chrissy Brinkley the swimmer. Shark jumps out of the water and eats her whole. What? The shark's not working? All right, I'll just tie some wires to her legs, just pull her around back and forth. That's still an effective scene because you don't see the shark and you're just imagining what's going on in that particular moment.
Yeah, because that's one of the reasons why this movie works so good. You didn't see too much of anything, but it was the suspense. Like, all the underwater shots, you know it's there, and you know it's coming.
Your only cues are not just the visual, but the music.
Yes.
When you hear that theme play, you know it's there.
Yeah.
And even when it's not there, you're still unsure whether or not it's the actual fish.
Yeah.
They had so many problems with that thing to Kingdom Come. There were points where they'd be speaking on the megaphone, nope, the shark's not working, the shark's not working. Brother, the one moment where I actually kind of wondered if it really got you was where Hooper is looking over that boat that's just out there alone in the ocean and the head comes in. Because that was a last-minute reshoot they did.
Yeah.
Because they did a test screening of the movie, did fine, and then Spielberg got a little greedy and thought, I want to add one more scare. And it was that scare. He went back, filmed it in a local pool, put all this cloudy pelt stuff or sulfur, just gave it a little watery feel. They did the bit with the head, and it got people, but to a point where from that point on, they were peeking through their eyes and looking out the shadows to see what's going on. Because when they test screened the film first time around, they jumped when the shark appears at Roy Scheider's line. I can go slow ahead, come out and show some of this crap. Because then popcorn, everyone would be screaming, flying everywhere. But with that scare added in, the levels of the popcorn being chucked into the air and screams was lessened because of that one scare he added in the last minute.
And that was a really creepy, they did really good with that.
I was worried because that's the point when I got the food.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at you. You're putting mayonnaise or ketchup on your sandwich.
I had to look up right when it shows the head. I'm
just
like, ugh. I'm like, that's nightmare fuel.
Quasimodo. I just pictured in my mind you just going, just ketchup just catapults on yourself and the people behind you.
And that's how we got banned from the Strand.
What the hell, miss? The Rock Your Picture Show done until October. How dare you? You're supposed to throw toast, not ketchup. Nah, this comfort food. Just all the way pure, great comfort food, but seeing it with you is so more magical.
I'm glad that you had me come, and I'm very glad that we watched this movie.
Would you recommend it?
Oh, yes. If you're someone who likes... What, was that an 80s film or a 70s film?
You're close. It was 1975 when it came out.
Okay, so...
You're close. I'll give you that much.
Pretty much an old movie, but a really good. It aged really well. It's enjoyable. You know, it's not a movie that they should ever remake, so... Don't get any ideas, Hollywood, or I'll have to hunt you down and kill you. Yes, I will.
It's okay, honey. Come here. Okay. You better now?
Oh, yes.
Better here. Jaws!
Ow.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I wish you were in the concessions line, because there was a kid in front of me.
Oh.
And it was so funny, because he was talking to this adult. And you know how grown-ups like to talk to kids. Don't worry, this is funny. I wish you were there to see this, because he was asking him, "Hey there, little guy, you're here to see Jaws?" Yeah. Have you seen it before? Yeah. Well, you're wearing a Superman shirt, so I think you're brave enough to see it. I would love to see his thoughts. We did kind of run into him when we were getting out.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, with how movies are these days,
And you
that
look
was
at
pretty mild.
And you look at this. Between everything else, it's like, I wish they made stuff like this. And they still do.
Yeah. Like, the older movies, it felt like a different, like, the dialogue felt more realistic, especially with, like, 80s and 90s movies, like, and I mean, there are good movies out now, too, it's just not the same, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you're getting at in terms of character development and such.
Yeah.
I think the closest time I actually ever felt they kind of sort of got it was Ready Player One. Because at least that's a case where the book is far different from the film.
Yeah.
You didn't see the movie, right?
That's not a movie I've seen yet. Sorry.
I'm coming, Elizabeth! I'm coming! No, I'm okay. Don't read the book.
Okay.
Do not read the book, I swear on my life.
Now, is the book bad?
Yes.
Okay.
I can respect Ernest Cline, because he's a major geek enthusiast, but a writer?
Well, there are some rare instances where the movies are better than the books.
That's true.
I don't know if you ever saw The Lovely Bones.
That's, it's funny, because that's one I always wanted to see, but it literally slips my mind. I am not kidding.
Well, my sister read the book, and we both saw the movie, and I haven't read the book, but she pretty much said that she thought the movie was better, so...
It's Peter Jackson, so I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
But no, it's a good thing you didn't read the book, Jaws, because the characters are pure assholes in that film.
Yeah, it's kind of like in Jurassic Park in the book. I think the grandpa was evil.
Oh, John Hammond, yeah, he was a jerk.
Yeah, he wasn't a good guy in the book.
Spoiler alert, he gets eaten by compies.
Oh, I know. My sister told me. She was like, yeah, well, in the book, he wasn't a good guy. And then he got eaten. It's like, oh, okay.
No, in the Peter Benchley novel of Jaws, it's worse. Way worse. The townsfolk decide to have the beaches open for the 4th of July because money. And then there's this thing going on with Chief Brody's wife where they have like a falling out.
Oh.
And she cheats on Hooper.
Oh, so a bunch of unnecessary drama that is not needed.
Yes.
Yeah,
Because originally Hooper got eaten by the shark for that reason.
Yeah.
But no, Carl Gottlieb, who did the screenplay, goodness for the life of me, he did like a whole rewrite of that movie to add in like all the community beats and everything. And Hooper, at the end of the movie, him getting saved, that was not intentional. A shark saved him.
Well, I'm glad that he did live because I liked him, and it was kind of ironic that the macho drunk fisherman died.
Gets eaten.
Yeah, and the two... Well, I mean, he knew about sharks scientifically, but he clearly wasn't a fisherman, so it's just funny that the two of them who've never had experience with physically taking down a shark are the ones that survive.
And there's two bits of irony when you think about it, because you have Brody, who's the middleman. Everyday middleman. You have Quint, who's like the supernatural wizard kind of guy. I know the way of the fish and the sharks. I listen to the conch on the water. Okay, not like that, but you get the idea. And then you have Hooper, who's the scientist. This always comes up in every critical analyzation. It's, you have a problem with the land, you have the everyman, the elderly wizard kind of person, and the scientist going after this thing. And just seeing that everyday situation wins is kind of funny.
Yeah.
The mystical ways. The scientific ways, no, because you don't know the hypothesis of what happens when this thing comes back and bites in the ass.
Yeah.
So, that's one critical view always that gets boiled down a lot. It's kind of like King Kong in a sense.
Yeah.
Oh, bring back something from the jungle in its natural state of habitat and gets corrupted by the city. No, it's a movie about a monkey that climbs Empire State Building. Stop analyzing this movie. But no, the other thing too, and I don't think you've noticed this, when, because earlier Quint mentions you're not going to get me in a life jacket again, and then when the boat breaks down, spoiler, he gives a life jacket to both Hooper and Brody, but he doesn't get one.
Yeah, I
That is perfect foreshadowing.
Yeah. So, long story short, if he didn't get eaten by the shark, he would have drowned because he didn't have a life jacket.
That's why lifesavers are always helpful. They're tasty and they save.
Lifesavers. They gotta bring back those old commercials.
Oh, you should see the Polo ones in the UK. They're even more interesting. I think they have the guy who voices Wallace from Wallace and Gromit do those.
I thought he passed away.
He did. They're from the 80s and 90s.
Oh, okay.
They're very fun to watch. It's
Okay.
like, how do they make a Polo man? You see like the whole thing there and they just kick off the middle section. But yeah, good movie, good start of the summer. I'm glad they're doing this all week.
Yes.
This is perfect.
Yes.
Planets align. What can I say?
It was a great feature and a great theater.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I'm glad too.
Looking forward to go back there again at some point.
Oh, yes.
Only with you. How about those sequels?
Those sequels.
Oh, that's the mood killer.
Again, those sequels, it's like...
All right. Would you like me to break it down for you?
No need. I've watched a lot of review shows talking
clips
about
and
the...
stuff. 3 and 4 are the crap ones.
Yeah, all I know is that Samuel L. Jackson at one point in one of those movies is giving an epic speech and then he gets...
No, that's Deep Blue Sea.
Oh.
That's different
Oh,
from
okay, I'm getting
Jaws.
all my movies mixed up then.
But,
Never mind.
But I will say this, between Jaws and Deep Blue Sea, I'd rather watch Jaws again.
Well, wasn't Deep Blue Sea like a knockoff? It was practically a knockoff of Jaws.
Not quite a knockoff. It was just sort of like, oh, it's a 1999 shark movie. Let's just do it with CGI sharks and stuff. And it's fun for what it is, but what really bugs me, and it's a little tiny thing I always have a problem with certain kinds of horror movies. Spoiler. It is one of the few films I can think of where 0 female characters survive. And I know that's like a nitpick, but just how brutal it is. As one gets chomped at the halfway, and then the other one near the end, she's like the evil one, but in the original cut, she was supposed to get redeemed.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, I'd done this terrible stuff, and I made these superpowered sharks, might as well destroy them. That was going to be her big turnaround, but when they test screened it, the audience booed and said, die, bitch, die! And so they had to reshoot it with CGI her getting eaten.
They could have done something where she's like having this like speech about how she's going to redeem herself, and then in mid-speech she gets eaten.
Samuel Jackson does better with something like that.
Yeah, well,
I felt bad because she's a good actress.
Yeah, well.
Oh well, if it wasn't for that, LL Cool J would have died in the original cut. He was the chef with the parrot. And he has the best send-off line where he kills the shark, because earlier in the movie the shark eats his parrot. This is for Sulcus! Boo! Really? No smile, you son of a bitch.
Hello, I'm Amigo.
Hello, I'm Inigo Montoya. You have eaten my bird, now prepare to die. Good movie, Princess Bride.
Yes.
If they do it somewhere, I'd love to see that on the big screen. That's what's great about the Strand. They don't just do mainstream stuff. They mix up a little bit with like classics and things like that.
Yeah.
So if they ever do another one, I'd be great to see it again.
If they ever do like any Hitchcock films.
They do.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, they've shown like Vertigo here a couple of times. I
Nice.
heard one patron say that they showed the birds at one point.
Yeah. Hitchcock, good films.
Mm-hmm. I think I have like a whole DVD set back at the house.
Nice.
There's even an uncut version of Psycho.
Ooh.
With 40 seconds of scenes removed from the American edit. No, I kid. It was the original theatrical cut they had.
Okay.
There's like maybe a side boob and like some extra seconds of Norman Bates washing blood off his hands and extra stabbing later on to one victim. But when they sent it to television, those mere seconds got cut out, and that was the version they sent.
Because you had to say side boob. The side boob hour. Peter, you're taking it too far. I'm sorry. You said side boob, and all I heard was...
I love that line. The side boob hour. Peter, I had enough. That station's going off the air. I called the FCC.
Oh.
I love that episode. But no, the only good Jaws sequel, personally, I'd say is Jaws 2. Even though it's a little more of the same. It's technically Friday the 13th.
Okay.
If you digitally erased Jason Voorhees and put in a shark.
No,
That's all it is. It's just a slasher movie with a shark.
I'm just picturing a shark with the ski mask on and he's holding a hockey puck.
You're actually not too far from that, because at one point in the movie it gets, like, scarred at some point. So it's this barbecued two-faced shark. You might like it, actually, for its stupidity. It's not a god-awful movie, but it's one of those where it's like, I can't take it seriously, but there's something so entertaining about it.
Yeah.
It's this two-faced scarred shark going after teenagers in a bunch of boats, and it turns into a Friday the 13th movie in the second half, because they turn their boats like a little oasis when things go to shit. And they're like, get over here, this side of the boat, get over this side of the boat. And this will make you laugh even more. There's a moment in the sequel where a helicopter does come and save them.
Oh.
Shark, helicopter, chomp, pulls the fucker underwater.
Yay, we're saved!
That's exactly what happens.
And then someone, are you effing kidding me?
That's exactly what happens. Minus the...
Did they say that? Are you kidding me?
No, but they're in shock, like... And what happens? Chief Brody fries that fish by biting into the electrical cable. It was directed by the same guy who did Supergirl and Santa Claus the movie, but it was contractual reasons.
Yeah.
Because if that movie didn't get made, we wouldn't have Somewhere in Time. That's a much better movie, honestly.
Yeah.
If you like Titanic, you'll like it.
Yes.
Christopher Reeve goes back in time to meet Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman.
It sounds like a good movie. It sounds like one I would like.
It is. It really is. Biggest regret is not having you there.
Well, I'm here now.
I love you.
I love you too.
Aww. Oh, sorry, I thought we had a show. I love ad-libbing shit. Oh, brother. So yeah, Jaws. Yay.
Yes.
And I guess next time we meet, it's your pick.
Yes.
And you told me what it was. Didn't you? Because you want to do Space Jam, too.
Oh, yes.
Unless it's a different movie. Question mark?
Oh, I was thinking, well, we can definitely do Space Jam, but I was thinking of that other movie I was telling you about that I warned you about, that it might be disturbing, but you might like it.
Oh, Midsummer.
Yes. We won't do Midsummer, but we'll definitely do Space Jam 2.
All right, because I know you wanted to see that for nostalgia's sake.
Yes. Hopefully it holds up. We'll find out. And no spoilers in the comments, please. Am I looking at the right spot? Yes,
Yep, you're right there.
Sorry, folks. It's been a while. I haven't been on the interwebs in like a decade, just about. I don't really count my other YouTuber
No, it's okay, it's okay. You're no longer the fanfic critic.
Nope.
You're Megan.
Yes. Well, the fanfic critic was always separate from me anyway. That was a character. An actual character, Doug Walker.
His name's not Doug Walker, it's Doug Wanker.
Oh, Yes.
My friends will get that. It fits them, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Meeting him at a con. Hey, Doug Wanker! Right next to Dickless from Ghostbusters. Walter Peck be like, oh, not this again.
Does he even still do Nostalgia Critic? Is he still a thing?
Should I answer that honestly? My answer is the name of a band.
Oh.
They perform the song Owner of a Lonely Heart.
Okay.
The band's name is Yes, Virginia. He's still doing that shitty web series.
Huh,
But we are none the wiser.
Nope.
Hey, we got our own thing. Fuck 'em.
Yeah.
Oh, brother, so it was good having you here.
Good having you too.
Oh, I'm glad you're back.
I'm glad I am too.
All right. See ya.
Bye.
Dum 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 dum.